This was
Brett
interesting
Favre,
to see. Definitely.
Yes, very much so. Brett Favre himself, obviously, an all-time great quarterback. Whether most people probably have him in the top 10. Probably, right? Wouldn't you say?
Probably, yeah.
Certainly top 15, top 10. I mean, look, there's been obviously a ton of great quarterbacks. So top 15-ish, top 10-ish, whatever. But anyway, he was the predecessor to Aaron Rodgers. And we all know that when the Green Bay Packers drafted Aaron Rodgers, I can't blame Favre, Rob. Just like Rodgers wasn't feeling the drafting of Jordan Love, Favre wasn't feeling the drafting of Aaron Rodgers. You blame me?
No. I don't agree with that from this standpoint. I understand, can they draft bringing in somebody else for down the road? But once the guy's there, Chris, you got to help him. I just don't believe in not talking to Aaron Rodgers. Like Brett is saying these nice things now. For 3 years, he didn't talk to the guy. And this guy's going to wind up being one of the greatest quarterbacks ever. And you didn't mentor him. You know me, I'm a mentor. I do not believe.
Well, but everybody's not like that.
No, I know. I'm just saying, I don't believe in, I can't help somebody coming up behind me because I'm afraid he's going to take my job. I don't just believe in that. I don't. And people have talent. Eventually, Chris, we all get replaced. And I'm just saying, for him not to talk to Aaron Rodgers or have any kind of relationship for 3 years.
Well, how bad was it? That bad? I mean,
they didn't talk.
Not talk to him.
They didn't talk.
They didn't talk at all.
Nope.
That's crazy. Yeah,
that's extreme.
You
isn't
gotta,
it? That's what I'm saying.
That's extreme. Like, I can get you're not gonna be buddies. Maybe you even don't teach him everything you know, But I mean, you're in the quarterback room together. How can you not talk to him? That just doesn't even seem possible. But anyway, Brett's changed his tune. And Rob, and I'm gonna say this. I'm not saying I was the first one to say this, but I said this several years ago. Aaron Rodgers is better than Brett Favre.
There's no doubt about it.
Yeah, and that's nothing to take away from Favre because he was a great one. But Aaron Rodgers is better. And again, I was saying that years ago. And now Brett Favre is even saying that. Here is Brett Favre on Sirius XM Radio.
I think he, aside from the Super Bowls, he may be the greatest player ever. I say this all the time. Tom Brady is the greatest player ever if we're measuring from a Super Bowl. And statistic-wise, Tom has put up tremendous statistics and has won 6 Super Bowls. But Aaron is, believe me, the Packers are good year in and year out because of him. And his statistics certainly speak for themselves.
All right, here's what I want to throw out, Rob, because nobody denies Aaron Rodgers'
We
greatness.
know, right.
Many people...
We would be wasting airtime if we're debating whether or not he's great. We know he is, right.
Many people, and I've even said this at one time, that he's the best we've ever seen throw the football. Many people, you got Marino, some people will say.
Yep.
You got Rodgers, and now, people are talking that way about Mahomes. But those are kind of the three when you talk about just flat out throwing the football, physical abilities, and all of that. I want to throw this out to you. Can you be the GOAT without prolific championships? A prolific number, I should say, of championships. And you can say that for not baseball because we know it's different baseball, but
it's
football
it's
and basketball.
Right.
Yeah, football and basketball.
Can you? Yes, you can. And I say it from this standpoint. Here's a scenario I'll give you, Chris, because it has to be a scenario. Not under current circumstances where he has one championship, right? Not. You just can't do it. But if Aaron Rodgers, say he finished his career like John Elway. People remember John Elway was a loser in the Super Bowl, Chris, right? He used to lose.
He lost his first 3, right?
His first 3, and bad. You remember?
Ugly, right?
They were bad. They were bad losses. The Denver Broncos used to get blown out. He wins his last 2 Super Bowls and calls it a day and retires. Let's say Aaron Rodgers has 5 great years left, Chris. 5 years. he wins 2 out of 3 or 2 in the next 5 years, and he's 3-0 in the Super Bowl, and he still has all those records. You know, the best touchdown to interception ratio. We already saw this year, fastest to 400 touchdowns, right? Brett Favre, when he got to 400 touchdowns, Chris had 238 interceptions.
Right.
Aaron Rodgers has 88. 88. Nobody had under 100. He's also the first quarterback to have 5 seasons of 35 or more touchdowns in a season, okay, ever in the NFL. So if he were to stack all those numbers and be 3-0, not 6-0, because he can't get there, right? If he can get 3-0, have all those numbers, I think he can be in that conversation and people could consider him. There would be a faction there would be the Joe Montana faction, there would be the Tom Brady faction, and there could be the Aaron Rodgers, but he has to get to at least 3.
Well, I'll tell you this, Rob. It would feel a lot better putting Rodgers in that conversation at, say, 3-0 if he's the driving force still behind that team. Because let's face it, and I don't take anything away from Elway's 2 Super Bowls, but we know that Terrell Davis was a big part of those teams.
No doubt about
the
it.
The driving force, perhaps. So,
but it changed the perception of Elway, is what I'm saying. It did.
Yes. And so if Rodgers, to add to your scenario, if he came out and was like, playing just like he's playing this year,
right,
and say they won 2 more Super Bowls, and I'm not even hung up on the, Super Bowl MVP, but let's just say he ends up being the Super Bowl MVP both times.
And the other stats and records that he has.
Yeah. Then I think he's in the discussion. Now, I'm going to be honest with you, and you might mock me. I think it's all moot right now because I fully expect, I'm not even trying to be funny, and I'm not putting him there yet, but I fully expect in 10 years, Pat Mahomes to be, maybe 15 years, be viewed as the GOAT. Because I do think he's going to win enough Super Bowls and his numbers are going to be even better than Rodgers is because, the way they throw the football now. And so I think in short order, he'll end up being viewed as the GOAT. However, to stick with this discussion, 3-0, great seasons in those years they win it, great Super Bowl games, yes. But I'll say right now, I do think I have to throw this in, Rob. One thing that hurts Rodgers is those bad performances in the NFC title games. And I know his defense hasn't been good. There's no denying that. But he a guy that never throws interceptions, has 6 TDs and 7 picks in his NFC title games.
Yeah,
that says a little something.
Everybody has blemishes along the way, so
but that's a serious
I get
blemish.
that. No, but if he wins 2 more, and I don't know, Chris, say he wins the MVP this year, and they win 2 more championships, so he has 3 MVPs, he has 3 Super Bowls. Do you know what I mean? Like
you could argue
there would have to be a couple more things added to his resume. Is what I'm not naive.
So and that's what I'm saying. Like, how much is winning? Because look, I don't know that anybody, and I like Tom Brady. I don't know anybody that's going to say he's the best thrower of the football they've ever seen.
No.
Now he's a great one. I told you when I started thinking he might be the GOAT was when he got Randy Moss. Because as you said often, those first 3 Super Bowls, he played fine. Let's not forget, every single Super Bowl that they've won, he's had the game-winning drive. Now, they may have ended up in a field goal, some of them, but he still led the drive. However, that defense was huge in those first few Super Bowls. His numbers weren't as prolific as they became, and he was just winning. He was a winner. And when I saw, and he had mediocre receivers, to put it kindly. When I saw him get a great receiver in Randy Moss and do what he did, that's, Rob, when I start thinking, oh my, this dude really might be the best we've ever seen. But it's because you have to combine, when you're talking GOAT and it goes for basketball, football, it's a combination, right? I think your individual numbers have to be very good, and Brady's are very good. They're not quite as good as Rodgers. But surprisingly, he's actually averaged more yards per game than Rodgers, slightly. But his numbers are very good, and he's got the big-time wins. If you've got one without the other, it's not going to be enough to put you in the GOAT conversation. You got to have a mix of both.
No, you got to win.
And I agree with you. If Rodgers, I think it only would take. Now, he wouldn't definitively be the GOAT if he wins
but he could get in the conversation.
He would be in the conversation.
He's not in that conversation now. Right. Like Dan Marino was for some people, Chris. He was never in the conversation for me because he never won. He went to a Super Bowl his second year. They lost, and they never got back. And you could talk about the pieces that he didn't have and all that other stuff, but the bottom line is he didn't win.
Right.
That's the bottom line.
And I think this too, Rob. I think there is more of an emphasis on winning today than there ever has been. In both sports, right? I mean, Jerry West and Jerry West, to me, Jerry West the third best shooting guard ever behind Kobe and Mike. But he lost his first 7 trips to the NBA Finals. And he was 1-8 overall in the finals, which bothers him to this day. And his nickname's Mr. Clutch. Now today,
and he won a Finals MVP when they lost.
Right. And he's the logo. Now today, Rob, there's no way in this climate, with the emphasis on winning, there's no way you could be 0-7 in the finals and be nicknamed Mr. Clutch.
No.
You know,
so it's just a different time.
Yeah,
right.
I think in basketball is due to I think Magic and Bird initially put the emphasis on winning because neither of them.
Once Michael got 6-0,
stats.
it's hard to look at that and think of anything other than that. That's such an impressive.
Jordan took it over the top where it was like, oh my, you got to win. And Brady's to some degree, I think it started before Brady, but Brady to some degree has done that in football with 6 rings. I mean, no other franchise has 6 rings, and he's one player with 6 rings. Super Bowl. So. Yeah, that's why I think maybe in the 90s, you could say Marino was the best ever. But today, you're not going to say that. And to be honest, Rob, there wasn't all this talk about who's the GOAT either back then. You know what I'm saying?
Again, as we talk about all the time, there weren't 24-hour sports talk radio stations.
Right.
There weren't the morning shows and sports networks, Chris. So, you got to feed that monster, right? I mean, let's just be honest.
You got to have things to discuss.
And that's why a lot of these things come up where before it would be like a guy in a certain city, Chris, who wrote a newspaper column. You know what I mean? That would be it. And it might get around to some other cities, but really not to the way things spread today.
Absolutely. That's why most sports talk radio was local. Because you just couldn't follow the national. You'd follow it to some degree, but not.
We couldn't even.
You couldn't
even watch highlights unless you watch Monday Night Football, right? You didn't even see highlights.
And that was
locally.
That was what 10 minutes, if that 5 minutes of
at
highlights.
halftime, right?
Yeah. So, and let me just say this, clean this up before I get calls, tweets, whatever.
What
I said, Larry Bird, Magic, they didn't have the prolific stats. Bird had big time numbers. He was about 20-something and 10, but I'm saying he never led the league in scoring. Magic averaged 19 points for his career. My point was they were defined by their winning, and by their making their players better. They had great stats, but it wasn't like, either of them led the league in scoring or anything like that. That's all I'm throwing out. How important should winning titles in the GOAT discussion and debate? Your turn to win.
All right, let's start with Sean in Sacramento. You're on the Odd Couple Fox Sports Radio. What's up, Sean?
My uncle's from another mother. My brother's behind the board. Hey, I got to give it to Alex Tightshirt, man. I don't know if all the listeners peeped that, but you know that he's playing nothing but the Christmas tunes from those classical claymation things, man. Big ups to him for staying on point with the theme no matter what the holiday season is.
That's my guy.
That's right.
No doubt.
That's right. I taught him everything he knows. I'm proud of him.
Look at that Chris trying to take credit.
Hey, Rob ain't the only mentor of the Odd Couple, right, Chris? But real quick, man.
I'll stack my list up against Chris's list. How's that?
He got a pretty nice list. I ain't gonna lie.
Hey man, y'all doing it big, man. Y'all leaders of the black radio, man. But real quick, man, My take on this, man, first of all, Brett Favre is only talking nice because he ain't got to compete with the man anymore. He wasn't doing none of that praise, none of that stuff when he was coming out of college.
True.
And then my other take is, man, you have to win the titles. In my opinion, the best quarterback of all time is Peyton Manning, and not because of the way he threw the ball, but because of the way he commanded that position, man. He was setting up the entire offense to succeed, but nobody's going to call him the greatest of all time because he won that first title so long ago, and he barely won that second title because of an outstanding defense in Denver. So as far as Rodgers goes, he has to win.
You don't call him the GOAT. You just think he was the best you ever saw, but you know he's not the GOAT.
That's exactly right. That's exactly right. You got to give it to you got to give it a TB12 unless Aaron could pull off some kind of 2 or 3 in a row in these last couple of years he got over there in Green Bay. That's all I got, y'all. Y'all keep it lit.
I do agree because, Rob, that's the thing. Peyton Manning, I've said it before, I mean, dudes were not calling the offense from the line of scrimmage before him.
No.
They were audible here and there. They were audible. But, I mean, you know what I mean? Like, he's changed the game in that regard. All the way down to high school.
The only problem is, and he has 5 MVPs, Chris, and he put up a lot of numbers, but his playoff record has hurt him, and he beat Rex Grossman and that Bears team, right? And then the second championship, he was like a shell of himself. So people don't really look at him in that vein.
Sean's right. I mean, he's up there, but you can't say he's the GOAT.
You can't say that. All right, David in Lincoln, you're on the Odd Couple Fox Sports Radio. What's up, David?
Hey, what's up, fellas? My family I've never met yet. How y'all doing, man? It's been a minute.
We're doing great,
We're good,
buddy.
brother. Good to hear from you.
Good, fellas. Hey, look, I think Sean is right a little bit. Well, first of all, Sean's wrong. I mean, you guys are the best show on radio. It ain't got nothing to do with black or white.
Thank you, brother.
Right now.
We appreciate that. Yes.
Rob, before I get started, Rob, man, you got to make another appearance on Jonas's weekend show this weekend, man. Last Saturday, I think it was. That's the funniest damn thing I've ever heard. You talk about Matt Millen and nuns' panties, and did you really ask that question to Rod Marinelli? Come on, brother.
I did.
Chris says that's one of his favorite questions ever asked.
Oh my God, that's the funniest segment I've heard in a long time. Anyway, I'll be brief, man. I think. Y'all know I'm a Cowboys fan. I really don't have, any horse in this race, but I think Aaron Rodgers is the best pure thrower of the football I've ever seen. I've never seen the ball come out of anybody's hand. Now, I didn't get to really see Marino that much because
Marino was
he's
great
just a little bit before my time. But until Rodgers, I thought it was Elway. But I'm going to disagree with Sean a little bit. I think Rodgers can get there. He probably has to get 2 more. But right now, I think he's right there. If it's the most accomplishments, then Brady, I guess we just have to give it to him.
I agree with that. When you talk about that, when you say most accomplishments, it's Brady hands down, not even
right,
close.
Absolutely. But I think Aaron Rodgers is every bit the quarterback that Tom Brady or anybody else is. Thanks, fellas.
Thank you. Let's squeeze one more in, Chris. Brad in North Carolina. You're on the Odd Couple Fox Sports Radio. What's up, Brad?
Thank you so much for taking my call. And I got to tell you, what these guys are saying about you guys it's right on. It's ever since COVID, I walk every night to you guys. In fact, right now I'm walking on a golf course. And you guys have carried me through it. There's times when I want to argue with you, but you keep me moving, man. I just appreciate it.
Hey, Brad, thank you, man. Thank you.
We appreciate that, definitely.
It just means so much to me. But this is what I think. I do think he's going to have to win more than one to do it. But the thing that I heard him say, and I haven't really heard anybody talk about, was he said that for the first time, he understands the importance of sending somebody into motion and just how much he can read on defenses. So here he is at this age.
Right, 37.
That's an indictment on McCarthy to some degree.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. And so here he is. Look how well he's doing, essentially with no defense. And they put something together. I think he could rattle off 2 or 3, but I'll tell you what I really think. He's going to start breaking single-season records.
Yeah, he's still, and you know what, Brad? Even if he does that, he still needs 2. He still needs 2 more championships. Yeah. He does. And you know me. I know all the records, Chris, all the numbers, and he can't be in that conversation with 1. And what is what do I say all the time? What do I always say all the time? Anybody can win one, and that's
Right.
just you.
I think
the
he's got
stars
to win
can
2
align.
more at least. I
Yeah,
think he's
I
got to
do
win
too.
at least 2 more.
You got to
Yeah.
win 3.
And
If you
I'll
have
say
th-
this, Rob.
If you have 3 championships and all those records, Chris, then
Right.
you got to look at that guy and
Absolutely.
go, he was a hell of a quarterback.
Absolutely. And I think this. Let's say he were to win, and I don't think this will happen, but let's say he were to win 2 of the next 3 Super Bowls.
Yep.
And now he's got 3. You know what we're going to say? He wasted is too strong of a word, but we're going to look at those 10 years when he, didn't get to the Super Bowl, and we're going to blame Mike McCarthy.
Yeah, you'll look back
Because you
and
just
say,
heard the caller say emotion. I mean, it's a much more creative offense right now.
But Mike
the way he's
McCarthy's
playing.
offense was terrible, Chris. I told you this before. I remember a game in Detroit, and I talked to Aaron after the game. It was just me and him, and we just were talking. And I just asked him straight up, Chris. I said, and it was off the record. We just kind of I was like, what, this game plan, what was that? You know what I mean?
Right.
It just didn't make any sense to me. Like, you have this quarterback with this arm, and I didn't understand the game plan.
No, and I'm saying, if he starts winning all of a sudden a lot, we're going to look at McCarthy and say, man, how many more could he have had?